Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time around, I've got a fistful of books here. We're going to take a little look at some super teams and super families. And they are all DC. And we're starting off with the All-Star Squadron number 37 from 1984. Of course, remember, this is pre-Crisis, multiple Earths. And so this is All-Star Squadron, which is a subset of the Justice Society of America. And takes place on Earth 2. But the interesting thing here is this has some event that happened, and the Shazam family is from Earth S has been mysteriously transported to Earth 2, and they are under the control of Hitler because of his possession of the Spear of Destiny, and it is these guys taking on the All-Star Squadron, and it's one of the few times when, actually several times, that Captain Marvel and Superman have gone head to head. But of course, this is taken in the context of the story. We find out this is shortly after, in the Fawcett years, of publication of the Marvel family. And shortly after Mary Marvel made her debut, and they're transported, and so this is decades before the new stuff that was in the 70s that was produced by DC Comics. I have Superman and Captain Marvel, Shazam, head to head, Wonder Woman and Mary Marvel, and the original Green Lantern and against Junior. And this is, of course, written by Roy Thomas. Most of these were at this time were written by Roy Thomas, and he did a lot of the Invaders too, because he was a big history buff, apparently, and he also is a comic history buff, and that's why he's written a lot of stuff on the history of comic books, with artwork by Arvell Jones and Richard Howell, neither of whom am I familiar with, but it has some nice artwork. You can tell this is Superman from the from Earth 2 because of the style of the emblem on his chest. It's different than the Earth 1 version, and he's not as powerful as not quite as powerful as the Earth 1 version. And then going up against Nazi bad guys. It's almost so kind of surprising that they did the more realistic version of Captain Marvel, rather than the more stylized C.C. Beck style, because that's at the time of them. It's a real good one. I just reread it, and I also have the issue that leads up to it, which is where Shazam and Superman first go head to head, and but it's not in this bunch. Then we have from 1986, DC Special, The Last Days of the Justice Society of America. And as you might expect, it's written by Roy Thomas, with art by David Ross and Mike Gustovich. This was a special, number 1, 68 pages, no ads, and this was 86, so this would have been, and this has Power Girl in it. This was after the would have been right after the Crisis, and this is when they're That's some nice artwork. It's a bit more illustratively done, but it's very nicely done. It reminds me of what's his name? The brothers. I can't think of their names. Anyway, never mind. It's the death of someone. Has Dr. Fate and the Spectre, and this is when Hawkman had the hood rather than the Hawk helmet, and this is when they're right after the universes have been fused, and they're maybe not, because it's got Batman has or maybe just before trying to combine the two universes together. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure, because it's 86, right in that, but it's right in that time frame. Then they have this is the one that does it. Secret Origins number 31 from 1988, Justice Society of America, written by Roy Thomas, with art by Michael Bear and Bob Downs. Otherwise unfamiliar with either of them, but it is some really nice, again, nice artwork, and this is also a bit more on the illustrative side, and looking a little less comic booky as far as the techniques are concerned. It looks really nice. This is kind of revamping the Sandman. I love this version of the Sandman. Retconning the beginnings of the JSA to come into line with the post-crisis Earth 1, Earth Prime. And here we have Super Team Family number 4. This was from 1977, I believe it was, and it's all reprint. 1976, because this is reprinting the Justice Society of America story from 1946. Yeah, from 1946, with a host of artists. The introduction part is done by Erwin Hassan, and then the various regular character artists, like here's Joe Kubert, who was doing Hawkman at the time, does the Hawkman chapter. And it's a real long story against Solomon Grundy. And the whole thing is, like I said, a long story. Paul Ryan on the Green Lantern. Nice stuff. very Golden Agey, of course, because it is Golden Agey. Then with a backup World's Finest story from this, but this one, art by Dick Sprang. This was done in the. Come on, I saw it here somewhere. I think it was 64. No, 1958. 58. Superman, Batman, and Robin. It's a World's Finest story. That's very nostalgic. Then here we go. Then is Super Team Family number 12. From this is from 1978, I think. 77, 78. 77. This features Justice Leaguers, Green Lantern, Hawkman, and the Atom. And here's the head. It said, "You could be in the Superman movie." Details inside. And this, of course, thicker, 60 center. It was, I think, a 48 page when they were doing that. I don't know. So instead of being the entire Justice League, it's just these Justice Leaguers together. Written by Jerry Conway. Arvil Jones, again, he drew one of those others, and Bill Drought is the inker. Some nice stuff. Boom, boom. Hawkman out. Atom to the rescue. Uh-oh, looks like they're going to burn a witch, and Green Lantern has to save her. Woo-woo. Uh-oh, now Green Lantern in the gladiatorial games. Haha, good fun, good fun. And here is Superman Family. I think it's just called the Super Family. Superman Family, $1, 80-page special for $1. Wasn't special, but Neil Adams cover. Why must Jimmy Olsen battle his best pal? And this, of course, it had stories because they at this time they had gotten rid of like the Lois Lane, Supergirl, and Jimmy Olsen titles, and they were combined into Superman Family. So they each had their own individual stories. This is including Crypto with script by Tom DeFalco, who we know best from Marvel Comics and now Archie Comics. Art by Kurt Schaffenberger. Always liked Kurt Schaffenberger's art, but it's stylized enough that his stuff would look better for some slightly humorous stuff. I love his work though, and I've seen that he can do very well on the dramatic stuff. Making it slightly less stylized. Of course, that could also have been the inkers, because he cut his teeth on the Shazam titles at Fawcett way back when. So it still his style still carries a little bit of that style, and he did some of the Shazam stuff at DC in the 70s as well. So there's a Jimmy Olsen story. We got Lois Lane story, and as is often the case, had Win Mortimer and Vinnie Coletta doing the inks, and they often have people who are a little better at the romance comics for Lois Lane especially, Vince Coletta, because no matter whose pencils he is inking, he can make the ladies just a little bit more lovely, even if he makes the figures a bit stiffer. And then here's a Crypto story, and then we go here to now here's what I was going to do. This is Nightwing and Flamebird, and you might say, what? Yes, this is the original Nightwing and Flamebird. They were for the Bottle City of Kandor, the original Bottle City of Kandor superheroes. They're roughly the Batman and Robin equivalent for the Bottle City of Kandor, and of course that's where Dick Grayson got the name Nightwing when he dropped the Robin stuff. And then the name Flamebird came up again later as a character in the Batwoman series. Now, one thing is written by Paul Cooperberg, but here's one with art by Ken Landgraf and Romeo Tangle. Now, like Ken Landgraf, I've talked about him before. He because he's been doing some of this stuff, and he does a really, really nice job here. Then a few years later, he was doing some independent stuff, the New York City Outlaws and other stuff, but that's what he's best known for. Now I remember for. I did a couple years ago. I did an episode on that New York City Outlaws, and because that's what is sometimes called outlaw comics, and the guys at Power Comics on their channel have talked about it many times. Have a real nice interview with him on there, and Ken Landgraf has his own YouTube channel. So go and check out his channel. Why don't you? At least be interesting. Then we have a Supergirl story. Okay, now then Now here, Superman? No, it's not Superman. It's when I bought this book. It was with, it came with this cover on it. It doesn't go to this book. It is Superman Family without a cover. Number 190 from 1978, just like the other one, except this is a Superman Family novel. It's all one story featuring all of the Superman Family characters, starting off with Jimmy Olsen and different artists and writers involved. It's still Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane stuff. Oh, cool. Aquaman hostess ad. And yeah, then we have yes, it's Lois Lane, but all the characters all intermingle. Different story. Crypto, the Superdog plays a part in the story, as does Nightwing and Flamebird, which is, when I get to it, there it is, again drawn by Ken Landgraf and written by Paul Kupperberg. So it's kind of a cobbled together storyline, all put together to make one overall story. So that's some fun. And then we'll finish this off with this Superman Family from May. This is Superman Family number 218. Cover art by Ross Andrew and Giacomo. Interior pencilers, artists are Winslow Win Mortimer and Vinnie Coletta. Again, doing the Coletta. He might kind of stiffen up the figures, but he does make the ladies look even more lovely. Starts off with the Supergirl story. And of course, these are again separate stories. Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, Jose Delbo, and Joe Giella. And because this isn't as thick, it doesn't have as many. There's no Nightwing and Flamebird, but it ends up with a Lois Lane story. Oh. And then there's one, the Mr. and Mrs. Superman from Earth 2. Superman and Lois Lane as a married couple. So that is all I had to share with you this time. I've gone long enough babbling. Just some fun stuff from DC Comics, featuring some classic characters, super teams, and super family. So thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Have you read any of these? Or tell me what you think of any of these. Any of that. What Justice Society stuff have you read? I don't have nearly enough, really, Justice Society, because I had ignored it back then, and I've been getting more, and I really enjoy it, both Justice Society and the All-Star Squadron. So that's all. And remember, comics are art.